What's going on, YouTube family? I am back, and I am sorry that I've been gone for a few days. I think it's been like 3 days since my last video, guys. I'm sorry about that for my subscribers. But I was working on a way to make my videos bigger and better than what they are now. As you guys can see, I pretty much make raw videos. No editing. I turn the camera on and I go. But I've been working on some things that I can do to make the content a little bit better. So hopefully we can get that popping soon. Keep an eye out for that. But today I'm back again with a prediction video for a huge fight this weekend. And the fighters in this fight are Jorge Gamebred Masvidal and Gilbert Burns in the co-main event of UFC 287 Stylebender versus Poatan. 4-2 in MMA, 4 overall. What a card in Miami. And let's get into the co-main event. So, you got Jorge Masvidal, who is at a crossroads in his career right now. He's talking about possibly hanging the gloves up if he loses this fight. But he's talking about if he wins this fight, he may be back on the right track to try to chase down that title. Gilbert Burns has been looking like a wrecking machine lately. He had a pretty good first round against Kamaru, and then he just got caught with some shots that dazed him, and he was put out of there in the second round, I want to say. But he beat Wonderboy. He's beaten a couple guys since he's gotten back on track. He did have that one fight with Khamzat Chimaev, which he pushed Khamzat to the absolute brink. Gilbert used to be at 55. Khamzat should be at 85, but he's a weight bully. And the way Gilbert performed in that fight was absolutely marvelous. Gilbert Burns is determined to get to the belt, and Gilbert Burns is unreal as far as talent goes. Probably the best jiu-jitsu in the UFC. He can wrestle his ass off. He has heavy, heavy hands, and he's a dog. A guy that can really challenge for a title on any given day and win it. Jorge Masvidal used to be a 55er as well. Moved on up to welterweight quite a bit ago. Started off rocky at welterweight, but then he wound up going on the run of a lifetime. Knocked out Darren Till when Darren Till was actually Darren Till. Knocked him out in London. Went on and fought the hot new thing on the block, Ben Askren at the time, and put him in the dirt, the fastest knockout in UFC history. I remember when I was watching that live, the next fight after that was Holly Holm and Amanda Nunes, and my jaw did not go undropped until after the next fight. I was there like this for the whole fight after that too, because Jorge Masvidal blew my mind that night. Then he fought Nate Diaz, and he beat the brakes off Nate Diaz for the most part. We never know what might have happened in the last 2 rounds, but we can only go off what we saw, and Jorge Masvidal beat him up pretty bad. And then he got a well-deserved title shot. Took it on short notice, came up short. Then he got an undeserved title shot, got knocked out cold. Then he fought Colby Covington and got out-wrestled for 5 rounds and just completely outpaced. Colby left him basically broken out of gas in that octagon after the fight. So, what is Jorge Masvidal bringing to the table now? Jorge's been talking a lot about, stepping up his game as far as the wrestling goes. I do believe that Jorge Masvidal has some of the cleanest striking in the UFC. His ability to stand up straight and box while still being able to stuff takedowns and have good wrestling defense is amazing. The only thing that I do worry about with Jorge is his cardio, and that shouldn't come into play here because it's a 3-round fight. But on the other hand, Gilbert Burns has a struggle with cardio as well, which also probably should not come into play because it's a 3-round fight. But neither of these guys are cardio machines. I do believe that Jorge Masvidal will be able to keep this fight standing for the most part. I know people think that Gilbert's just going to maul him the whole time, but I don't really think so. I think that people get carried away with the fact that you can just take Masvidal down because how Colby and Usman were able to have success there. But Usman himself talks about how hard that Masvidal was to hold down, and I think Masvidal is a good wrestler. He comes from a good wrestling camp. He got a late start in life wrestling, but he's trained with Bo Nickel. He's trained with Colby Covington. He's a credible wrestler. Gilbert Burns is mostly a jiu-jitsu practitioner. I mean, he has great wrestling, don't get me wrong. He's also trained with Kamaru Usman and other guys alike. But, yeah, I don't think that Gilbert Burns has the cardio to keep pressing the wrestling after Jorge makes it hard on him to secure takedowns. So I do think that this fight will take place on the feet for the most part. And I think Gilbert Burns is the better fighter. I think Gilbert Burns is far and above as far as just who's a better fighter. I think Gilbert has a real chance to win a world title one day. I know Gilbert's older now. He's like 36. But he could still get there in the next year or two. But fighting is not about who is the best fighter or the better fighter when you're in there. Every single fight is about matchups. When these two guys clash, what is the style matchup like? Where is this guy strong? Where this guy's weak? Is this guy weak? Or this guy's strong? Whatever. And I do believe that the lack of what's the word I'm looking for? The lack of an arsenal on the feet for Gilbert Burns is going to cost him. I think he's a one-trick pony in the striking for the most part. He just throws hooks. Jorge Masvidal's got quick leg kicks. He does the knee stomps. He can throw a knee at you whenever. His boxing setups are amazing. His blitz is amazing. He's caught so many people with that blitz that he does. His range management, his understanding of range in the boxing is tremendous. And I might surprise some people here, but I'm going Jorge Masvidal to win this fight. And I think that he gets it done by knockout if I had to pick a method. I think Gamebred resurrects in Miami. I could also see him getting a close decision against Gilbert, where he hurts him multiple times and Gilbert maybe has success with control time and it's a toss-up and then Jorge gets it because they're in Miami. But I do think he baptizes him, man. I think Jorge Masvidal catches another body. And I have nothing but the utmost respect for Gilbert Burns. I think he's an amazing fighter, but he's been chinny. He's been rocked. Jorge Masvidal is not the one you want to be rocked by. I think Jorge's faster on the feet as far as striking goes. I think that Jorge has a good enough wrestling defense to neutralize Gilbert, especially knowing Gilbert doesn't have the best gas tank. And from a stylistic standpoint, I'm going with Gamebred Masvidal to win this fight. So you guys tell me in the comments, who do you guys have winning this fight? And what's the fight you guys are most excited for on this card? I'm pumped for Yanez and Font. That's a banger. I love the way Yanez fights, and Font's a hell of a boxer himself, so that's a huge fight that I'm looking forward to. Kevin Holland, Santiago Ponzinibbio is another one. And Thursday night, we're going to be getting into who is going to win the main event of the evening. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, guys, hit that subscribe button. I'm working really hard to try to get the content to the next level for you guys. I'm not an editor. I'm really not a computer guy. I love fighting. I love music. These are the things I love, sports. But yeah, I'm not really a computer techie kind of guy, and I'm doing this all myself. So I'm learning things, guys, and I'm going to keep the content pumping out. And anybody that subscribes, just know I really appreciate it. If you watch the videos, just know it means the world to me. And yeah, guys, stay tuned. Better content on the horizon. Tell me who you guys think is going to win this fight. Tell me how pumped you guys are for this card. And I will see you on the flip side. Mwah, mwah, mwah. And I'm going to let it run for 9 more seconds so we can get to 10 minutes. I don't know. It's like a pet peeve for me. And we're there. Thank you, guys. See you later.